We've all heard about the Messianic prophecies in Isaiah, chapters that speak of a coming Savior, a suffering servant. But what if I told you that buried in the Judean desert were scrolls, and hidden among them were mysterious lines about a coming figure, a leader, a liberator, a Messiah? Some of these descriptions are so detailed they raise a haunting question. Were the people of that time expecting someone who sounds a lot like Jesus? Here are 5 of the most shocking Messianic prophecies buried in the Dead Sea Scrolls. If this is your first time here, I invite you to subscribe. We reveal biblical and Christian truths like you have never seen before. Now let's proceed. Prophecy number 1, the pierced one. One of the most startling fragments from the Dead Sea Scrolls is known as 4Q285, often called the Pierced Messiah Scroll. It describes a coming leader, referred to as the Prince, but not in the way you'd expect. Instead of triumph, we read this chilling line, "They shall pierce the Prince." A Messiah, pierced. This isn't a metaphor for emotional pain or political loss. The text speaks of an actual death, violent, deliberate, and central to the figure's mission. The context suggests he's a warrior, perhaps leading a final battle, but then he's struck down. And somehow, his death isn't a failure. It's the fulfillment of a purpose. Why would a messianic leader be pierced? Why would his mission require death? Who is this prince? But if that shocked you, wait until we uncover a prophecy that boldly calls a man Son of God. Prophecy number 2, the Son of God Scroll. Deep within the scroll fragments catalogued as 4Q246 is one of the most provocative lines ever found outside the New Testament. It reads, "He will be called Son of God. They will call him Son of the Most High." This isn't Luke's gospel. This is a scroll written in Aramaic, buried in a cave centuries ago, long before the birth of Jesus. And yet, it speaks of a coming figure with cosmic authority. A ruler whose kingdom, the text says, will never end. A divine title, a never-ending reign, written by Jews, not Christians, found near Qumran, not Galilee. So who were they expecting, and how did such language, so closely echoing the angel's words to Mary, end up in a scroll sealed long before Jesus was born? Prophecy number 3, 2 Messiahs. According to scrolls like 1QS and 4Q Florilegium, the Essenes, an ancient Jewish sect, believed in not one Messiah, but 2. One was a priestly Messiah from the line of Aaron, his role to atone, intercede, and lead in righteousness. The other, a royal figure from the line of David, destined to conquer, judge, and restore the kingdom. 2 messianic figures, 2 missions, one to offer sacrifice, one to bring justice, one who suffers, one who reigns. It's a fascinating split like 2 halves of a whole. But it raises a profound question. Were they expecting 2 people? Or did they glimpse one Messiah, fulfilling both roles at different times? Prophecy number 4, miracle worker and preacher. In the fragment known as 4Q521, we find a powerful vision of what the Messiah would do, not just say. It reads, "He will free the captives, open the eyes of the blind, raise the dead, and bring good news to the poor." This isn't just poetic language, it's a mission statement, a job description for a figure marked by power, compassion, and divine authority. The language echoes Isaiah 61, a passage Jesus famously read in the synagogue, and it parallels what Jesus told John, the Baptist's disciples, in Luke 7 verse 22. "Go and tell John what you have seen and heard. The blind receive sight, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, the dead are raised." It's as if the scrolls painted a portrait of a miracle-working liberator, of someone who would break the boundaries of what people thought was possible. But did anyone in history actually fulfill that profile? We shall find out. Prophecy number 5, the suffering servant, rewritten. In Cave 1 near Qumran, researchers uncovered a complete scroll of the book of Isaiah dating over 100 years before the time of Jesus. Inside, it was Isaiah 53, word for word, almost identical to what we read in our modern Bibles today. No edits, no Christian insertions, just the raw ancient text. He was despised and rejected, pierced for our transgressions, led like a lamb to the slaughter. And it goes further. It says he was cut off from the land of the living. For the transgression of my people, he was punished. Buried for 2 millennia, untouched by church or creed, this scroll describes a man who suffers, not for himself, but in place of others. Why would this be preserved so carefully, but read so rarely? Now you've seen them, 5 ancient prophecies, all written before Jesus ever walked the earth. So the question is, who were they expecting? Here is what I think. When I look at these scrolls, each written before Jesus ever stepped into history, what I see isn't coincidence. I see a pattern, a pierced leader, a son of God, a healer of the broken, a sacrifice, a ruler with a time limit, a servant who suffers for others. These aren't vague hopes scattered across different scrolls. They're a portrait, drawn piece by piece, centuries before Jesus, and somehow he fits every piece. Not just one prophecy, all of them. And that's what makes it so compelling. Not just that Jesus fulfilled a prophecy, but that he fulfilled these. It's something worth thinking about. What is more surprising is that these weren't Christian writings. These were Jewish hopes, recorded centuries before Jesus was born, hidden in caves, and preserved for 2,000 years. 5 scrolls, 5 mysteries, and 1 haunting question. Who were they waiting for? And did he already come? You have heard what I think. What do you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments. And please also like and share this video. Don't forget to subscribe for more eye-opening videos. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.